Okay, we're going to do another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today, I have a really interesting review for you guys from the brand Ridge. Yes, the EDC gear company most known for their famous Ridge wallet, born out of Kickstarter nearly 10 years ago, is now expanding into various EDC facets from bolt action pens to wristwatches. So, of course, quite a bit of interest for this channel and my tastes. In terms of the type of watch, this is an everyday adventure watch, some key common characteristics and design language when you're looking for something you can take with you on your everyday adventure. Of course, you're going to want something that's sporty, legible, and tough. This is the Ridge Titanium Field Watch, and it's essentially their take on a great go anywhere, do anything timepiece that offers high specs at an affordable price point, boasting a thin 4 Hz Miyota 9000 series movement, a titanium case, sapphire crystal, and 200 meters of water resistance, all for under $300. Yes, you heard me right. This actually goes for $275 direct. And they also offer a 99-day risk-free trial period, as well as a lifetime warranty if you do decide to keep, which is pretty impressive and something that typically would be more likely to be found within the EDC realm versus the micro brand wristwatch realm. So that definitely caught my interest. Of course, full disclosure, this piece was sent in by Ridge. There's no expectations or oversight in terms of edits or anything like that. This is still, of course, my own opinion that I'm sharing with you guys, and so yeah, I'm happy that they did send this piece over so I could check it out and share it with you all, because I'm sure it's probably been popping up in quite a few of your feeds. I know it's popped into mine. So with that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. All right, guys. Now they also sent over this pen. So quick sneak peek at that. I'll definitely be doing a full review in terms of my On Point EDC segment. So definitely keep an eye out if you're interested in this titanium bolt action pen as well. So very, very cool. Now let's get into it, guys. So very bold look here, but at the same time, nothing quite groundbreaking, right? Very nice, clean mixture of batons and numerals, and very, very symmetrical and balanced. Typically, you'd find this type of balance on, maybe like a no-date dive watch. But it's nice to see that here on a field watch. Definitely less cluttered than your traditional field watch would typically have, a lot of different scales on there. So definitely a nice, more modern take, which is going to offer quite a bit of versatility in terms of wear, and it does give you a much more modern look to go with this case profile. Speaking of the case, guys, 40 millimeter diameter, 11.7 millimeters thick, and that's including the crystal, 47 millimeters lug to lug, grade 2 titanium that is satin brushed and machined, and also has high polished accents, which I was very surprised by, guys. Check that out. They really worked hard to give that nice glossy polish to a grade 2 titanium, which is going to be more pure than, of course, a grade 5, although grade 5 would be a bit stronger in terms of the strength. But here you're still going to get the purity of titanium and really the beauty. Look at the luster on that with those finishings. So definitely very cool. Feels like a modern kind of everyday adventure watch. I don't know behind the scenes, which factories or micro brands might be creating this watch for Ridge behind the scenes, but I gotta say I'm very impressed with the fit and finish, especially at the price point. No, it's not luxury level or anything like that, but for what it is, it definitely goes above and beyond probably what it needed to, because they could have easily just sandblasted this thing and sold it for the same price and it still would have been an outstanding deal. So to get that mix of complex finishing and even just the case contours in general, I have to say they did go the extra mile there. Now, you do get this flat sapphire crystal, which does have a layer of anti-reflective coating, I believe, on the underside. So it does help the beautiful black and very clean stark dial shine through quite nicely with very little distraction from, catching stray reflections. Now, in terms of the bezel, it is a fixed bezel, but it does have multiple facets, as you can see, different planes, about 3 different ones. You do have a brushed face there, and then a polished kind of beveled edge, and then a circular brushed on top. So very nice. You do get a screw down crown, which is signed with that R. There's a part of me that kind of wishes they would have put a similar R on the dial, but then I think that might have made it look a little bit like maybe another brand that puts an R on a dial. So I get that. They probably wanted to spell out Ridge. I think there's actually like a Ridge, the R in Ridge that has the actual mountaintop, I think looks pretty cool. I think that would have been another option. But again, spelled out like this, nice and clean, you really can't complain. Now, inside, very surprising at the price point, guys. Miyota 9039. So this is a no date movement for a no date watch. So there's going to be no ghost position when you unscrew that crown, which I think is awesome. Yes, guys, this watch has a 9039, a screw down crown, 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal with AR coating, grade 2 titanium in multi finishes there, and you know, all faceted and detailed. So that's pretty darn cool. Like, that's a lot for $275, and this isn't from some factory brand. This is from Ridge, a brand that, yeah, they make enough sales within kind of their other product lines to where they can offer a 99-day risk-free trial period and a lifetime warranty, which is pretty wild. So very, very impressive. And you can only kind of do this type of thing if you are a brand like Ridge, right, that is very multifaceted and has a lot of different products and is just offering so much and is able to sell at a higher volume than your typical kind of small batch micro brand. Now, the Miyota that's in here, of course, has 42 hours of power reserve, beats at 4 hertz, so a nice, smooth 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate, and then you can see that through the display case back, which they didn't need to do, but it's cool that they did. It would have been nice to maybe have a custom rotor of some kind, but you know what? Hey, you saved some money, so I'm fine with that, especially, again, at the price point. Very surprising. Now, the dial is matte finished with a printed index. Of course, it does have Swiss Superluminova that does glow blue. I'm not 100% certain it's BGW9 because it didn't necessarily say that within, on their site in terms of the details. But I will say that it does glow blue. It has 200 meters of water resistance, or 660 feet, which is outstanding, especially for an everyday watch with a screw down crown. 20 millimeter lug width. It does have kind of that, not a hooded lug, but a boxed lug where it's straight there, which means when you do put different straps in there, it's nice because there's not going to be a lot of gap. This actually does come with 2 different straps, and they both come on quick release spring bars with milled signed buckles that are very nice, and of course also titanium, and check that out, also multifaceted and multi-finished. Very surprising. Even the little finger on the clasp, or let's say on the the pin buckle, is also milled and signed there very nicely. So very impressive. But let's quickly take a look at the packaging and that other strap that comes in here. So the one you guys see that it's on right now is the hybrid leather strap. So it has nylon on the outside, and then of course leather on the inside. Very nice. But let's take a look here. I'm not big on unboxings, but hey, this is a new brand for the channel, so probably good to kind of show that to you guys. Now we get into here. Check out this. Definitely is more of the I would say modern strap option. Check that out. And with this nice contoured rubber strap, it does have these contours here. It seems like it could be a little bit dusty, but of course, depending on your use case, that might not matter to you at all. Nicely signed. Also has a quick release. Also has the, pretty nicely executed milled hardware as well. So I think this looks really cool. Definitely gives it a more modern look if we were to swap that out. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that because it's actually pretty easy and pretty quick thanks to these quick release spring bars. So we'll pop that in even as I'm reaching around a tripod with a camera. gonna try to find that. There we go. Got the first click. Now, let's get it the right direction. Then, of course, I'll have to wipe off my fingerprints here. But check that out. So, pretty cool. You can see definitely gives it a more modern and futuristic look. And then, of course, in terms of comfort, this one's probably be a little bit more comfortable, especially if you're going to be getting this watch wet, which is pretty cool because you have the option to screw down crown, 200 meters of water resistance. This could absolutely be a beach watch or a field watch. But quickly, this looks pretty cool. Another nice little feature is you do get a nice little bit of documentation here. Gives you all the details. Cool. Shows you how to set the watch, right? Because not all people who buy Ridge products are necessarily huge watch fans. So that's very cool. Care and maintenance. Gives you details on that lifetime warranty. And then just some more information about their ideas and their plans, who the watch is for, the mission statement. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. I don't mind them adding that in at all, especially again at the price point. So with that said, we'll clean all this up, get this on the wrist, set up for some shots to see how this thing wears. Okay guys, as you can see on my 7.5-inch wrist, this wears really well. And of course I do have a slightly larger wrist, but it's pretty round as you can see. So it's not like I have some really flat, wide wrist that just accommodates to every watch. Of course, if I get my wrist a bit too close to the camera, you're gonna get some perspective distortion. So what I like to do is keep my wrist nice and low here and then just kind of tighten up the frame so you guys can get a detailed look while still getting a bit of a truer aspect ratio of how this might sit on your own wrist. So you can see that 47mm lug to lug is definitely quite manageable, and on the rubber strap it looks quite modern, quite fresh, and very contemporary. And you can see also nicely contoured short lugs, generally a nice amount of angles and details to give you some visual interest, but it still plays very flat and very thin, which a lot of people enjoy, especially for a watch that you want to wear while being active. So with that said, let's actually maybe swap out the strap to see how the nylon strap wears. Okay guys, as you can see, this more traditional hybrid strap looks great. I really dig it. I like that they even have a fine little detail where this is leather backed in terms of the holes to reinforce them. And then if you look closely there, you can actually see that there's even a cutout on the, there's a little relief cut into the edge on the underside of this buckle to where you actually have a space for the additional material that's there for it to ride under very clear and clean. So that was a nice little touch. Of course, you're only gonna notice that on the on this nylon variation in terms of, well, nylon hybrid, because you got the nylon on top and then the leather on the bottom. Because if you look at it here, it still has this little shape. Let's go ahead and get that. Oh, you know what? Why don't I just bring the lens back here? And so you can see it has the cutout as well on the rubber strap, but it's not going to create this quite the same effect because there's nothing that protrudes over the holes, because you don't need to reinforce those. But it's just a little detail that I just noticed that I thought was, you know, pretty cool and pretty telling that they do put a lot of effort into the feature sets here. So with that said, let's get this off the wrist, set up for some lume shots, low light transition, and closing thoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the lights here. Hey, as you can see, looms up pretty decent. Not, you know, the heaviest loom application. I will say it's probably a bit thin. You can notice that the hands are going to be more what you're accustomed to in terms of loom. We're going to be a bit brighter than the dial application, which, you know, again, it's a printed dial, and this isn't from some micro brand that makes dive watches as well and is, you know, crazy in terms of their lume compounds. So I will say that's probably the one of the drawbacks here is you're not going to get very potent lume, but hopefully they'll see this feedback and maybe add a couple more extra layers there to future runs. But hey, you know what? You're not always going to be in pitch black darkness, and you're not always going to be out in the middle of a field enjoying direct sunlight. So it is nice to have a bit of low light transition just so you guys can see how these colors, textures, and finishes render like in less than optimal lighting. And you can see even with that lume being, you know, closer to more of a traditional field watch versus, you know, a hopped up adventure watch, it's still extremely legible in those mixed lighting conditions because of the high contrast of the black dial and the relatively white numerals. And when they're not white, they are blue. So you're going to be getting a nice bit of legibility there, and it's going to be hard for this dial to truly wash out to where you're not going to be able to kind of tell any time or legibility. So very, very nice in terms of, again, that legibility, even with the not super potent lume. So not too bad there, I guess. Under $300, $275. I shouldn't say under, because it's not like they sell it for $299. It's $275. So that's a nice little deal, right? So it is nice to see, even if we get into some harsh lighting here, which might expose any types of production defects, you're actually going to see a pretty clean execution. Like, very impressive. Well done, Ridge. I am impressed. So, closing thoughts, guys. On the wrist, great Goldilocks sizing, super lightweight without feeling insubstantial or cheap. Very versatile dial layout, definitely fits the theme of a field watch well, while not feeling overly specific or specialized. Again, which goes to more versatility. In terms of model variants, it's also available in a matte olive green dial, an alpine navy blue dial, a base camp orange dial, as well as a carbon fiber dial with a black PVD case coating. And then in terms of comparable models, well, you know, not providing the same level of lume brightness as other competitive micro brand offerings, the Ridge brand bridges the gap with the low pricing, the high spec, as well as that strong customer purchasing experience that includes, again, a lifetime warranty and that wide risk-free trial period. So for me, guys, bottom line, it's always fun to kind of pair up EDC gear with makers, you know, and kind of make everything match. I think that's fun. So if you have a Ridge wallet, a pen, a ring, or any other of their related products, at this price, I think the watch is a no-brainer to kind of complete the collection, right? So if you're into Ridge, you found this video because you were searching for input on the Ridge watch, I will say, as a watch guy, the Ridge comes through, it does the job. And if you don't already have other Ridge products, I could easily see this very capable and affordable little field watch kind of leading to future Ridge product purchases to eventually pair with it, right? So if you are interested in this just purely from a watch perspective, is that a little dust there? Sorry about that. Hey. Okay. All right, sorry. Hey, if you do end up with this watch, yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it led to eventually you maybe picking up one of these sweet bolt action pens that I'll be reviewing over the coming weeks as well. So let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.